What is philosophy? What do philosophers do? Why do we do ethics? Well, you can think of ethics as the study of how we ought to live, how we ought to treat each other, and how we ought to organize our communities. It's a study of what we ought to do, not just what we do or what we're able to do. Epistemology is concerned with what we ought to believe and how we ought to reason. Ethics is concerned with what we ought to do, how we ought to live, how we ought to treat each other, and how we ought to organize our communities. It comes as a surprise to many new philosophy students that you can reason about such things. Religiously inspired views about morality often take right and wrong to be simply a matter of what is commanded by a divine being. Moral relativism, perhaps the most popular outlook among people who have rejected faith, simply substitutes the commands of society for the commands of God. But philosophy takes these questions to be genuinely open questions. If philosophy has not yet succeeded in coming up with absolutely certain and definitive answers in ethics, this is in part because philosophers take the answers to moral questions to be things we need to discover, not simply matters of somebody's say-so.